A Missouri grant program aimed at recruiting and keeping teachers now sending thousands of dollars to more than 100 school districts. It's called the Grow Your Own Grant Program. Missouri Capitol Bureau Chief Joe McLean reports.
In reality, there were many districts trying to do something similar before this grant existed. But what the grant does is it legitimizes the value of keeping individuals within a district.
The goal behind the Grow Your Own Grant Program is to either develop students to eventually pursue a teaching career or hang on to the teachers who would otherwise retire or quit. This is most difficult in smaller rural districts that can't always afford salary demands.
And if we can incentivize individuals and get them back where they really want to be in some cases, I think there's value in that. I think those individuals already want to be back in the districts. They just want to be able to have a living wage and take care of their families in those districts.
Bobby Jo Lewis leads the Missouri Teacher Development System for the state's education department. She said more teachers are joining the profession than the same time 3 years ago. But
we have more and more that are retiring and leaving. And on the other end, we don't have enough that are coming in and staying to fill that, and so that really becomes a problem.
The Grow Your Own Grant Program awards $10,000 to 125 school districts across the state, a combined $1.25 million. And Lewis said districts can use that money to recruit and retain teachers in whatever way works best for that district.
So you have internships, you have scholarships, you have mentoring programs. There's a wide variety. I've heard of districts actually bringing in like help from a partnership from a university.
The Grow Your Own Grant also puts $70,000 each to 15 universities and $45,000 each to 5 colleges to support their educator development programs. In Jefferson City, Joe McLean, WGEM News.